Doctor, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Can I be heard?
Morning. Are we good to go?
Yes, you are very good to go, sir.
Yes, we are good to go.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I welcome you to this online class.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Today we will be under 30 minutes by His grace. We want to be brief so that we can have opportunity for questions and answers and maybe contribution. We want to look at project writing. On our first slide, you recall that before now, we have been able to look at the meaning and concept of a project. Mr. Nelly, can we have the first slide, please? Mr. Nelly? Mr. Nelly, yes. You recall that before now, we have been able to look at the meaning and concept of research, which we said that is a systematic way of recording and observe to the extent of generalization of what we have been able to do. Lecture, we should have been able to look at what are those chapters that you can find in a project, and what are we supposed to have in each chapter of the project. Basically, at this level, our project is expected to have 5 chapters, which are chapter 1, that we call the background to the study or introduction, chapter 2, literature review. Our chapter 3 shall be the methodology that we want to employ in carrying out the research. The 4 shall be result and discussion, and 5 shall be summary. In the chapter 1, like we said in the class, in the background to the study, it is expected that the researcher or those that want to conduct the research, they must have a general term of the study. When we talk about general term, a study must have a particular topic. It must have a researchable topic. That is where we can say that, okay, this project can go. That is where we can say that we can conduct this project. In that one, it is expected that the researcher should state the reason behind conducting such a research. In essence, in that research, why this irrational? You must have reason why that particular topic, why not another topic. It's like when you want to conduct a feasibility study, or it's like when you want to go into a business. Why do you have to go into pure water? Why not bottled water? In essence, our research under our introduction, you must be able to state the rationale for conducting such research. Then, still under that background to the study, the researcher must be able to provide a basic background. Now, when we talk about basic background, each variables in that topic must be dealt with under the background to the study. You must have been able to say something about all the variables that are contained in the topic. The next thing after that background to the study is the statement of the problem, or what some people call POS. Some will say POS, problem of statement, or SOP, statement of problem. Either of the two, our statement of problem must be able to be a reflection of the literature that we are going to see later. You must have been able to look at literature and see, because there is no particular topic, nobody has not done that. In most cases, our topic you look at that topic. For instance, now if you want to look at cooperative and economic growth in Lagos State, maybe it has been conducted in somewhere in Africa or somewhere in Nigeria, but not Lagos State. How was it conducted? What is the problem? And which area? Then it is on this basis that you can now be able to say, okay, I want to look at cooperative and economic growth in Lagos State, bearing in mind that the one that was conducted in a particular place, was it positively related or not? Those are the things. You must be able to identify problem under the problem that you want to solve. It is then that we can now say that we must have been able to do justice to the statement of problem of statement. Then, after, what are the significance, or who are the beneficiaries of this project that wants to conduct? Who will benefit from what that research that wants to conduct? There must be stakeholders that are likely to benefit from the problem that we want to solve. Mr. Nelly, are you there? Can we have the next slide, please?
Hello?
Yeah, next slide, yeah. The purpose of the study. In the purpose, we must be able to identify two things. You recall that in our last physical class, or the previous one, we said that there are two basic objectives. We have the broad objective and the specific objective. In our purpose of the study, these two must be well stated and well identified. If not, we are going to run into problem in the course of conducting that research. We identify our broad. The broad, in most cases, is the topic that we have chosen right from the beginning. Then we now split this topic into specific, into achievable, into attainable. It's like when we have a goal. Under that goal, there could be one or two or three things that we want to achieve before we get that goal. Immediately after that purpose, we have to get what we call research questions and hypotheses. The research questions are questions that are emanated from the specific objective. In most cases, to each specific objective, there must be a research question. For instance, if you say that our objective is, we want to look at, the objective is to look at cooperative performance and educational background of members. In our question, we can now say, does educational level enhance cooperative performance among members? I hope you are getting it now. Then we can now go to the significance. In that significance, in most cases, our significance has to do with stakeholders. Now, if you want to look at cooperative and women empowerment in Ikorodu, the stakeholders here are the cooperators, the government, the policy makers.
Hello, sir.
Hello? Yeah,
Just
hello?
give me a minute. Let me address Mr. Adedeji Omotayo.
Hello? Hello? Yeah.
You are affecting others. There is a lecture going on, sir. Mute your phone or device you are using. Mr. Adetayo. Thank you, sir. Go on, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I said that under the significance of studies, we identify the stakeholders. We now say that suppose in one of the research that we want to conduct, we want to look at cooperative society and women empowerment in Ikorodu local government. Now, who are the stakeholders? The first stakeholders are the corporators or the cooperative societies. Another stakeholders that you can find there are the state government. The third one could be the research or policy makers. We should now be able to say that at the end of this research, it is expected that it will guide the cooperative society in improving on the performance. The government should also be able to take policy whether to give back into cooperative society or not. Those are the significance that we are likely to get from any research. In essence, in the research, once you get to the significance, who are the beneficiaries, who are the stakeholders? And the beneficiaries needs to be identified, and we need to take note of, in one way or the other, what are the benefits that they are likely to get from the conduction or the conduct of the research that wants to take place. The next slide, please. Mr. Nelly? Yeah. Still under chapter 1, the scope of the study. The scope of the study must include two things. It has to include time. It must cover both time and geographical zones. What do we mean by time? In our study, we need to identify the time frame. Will the research going to take 3, 6, or 1 year? Then, what is the geographical zone? For instance, now in Nigeria, we have 6 geopolitical zones. Is it in southwest Nigeria? Is it in northwest Nigeria? Is it in south-south? Or is the research work taking place in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria? Or is it a zone within Lagos State? For instance, now, in Lagos State, there are 3 senatorial districts. Is it in Lagos East? Or are we choosing a particular local government? In essence, in our scope of study, this needs to be spelled out. Then, operational definition of terms. Terms that are relevant, variables that are in our study must be defined. For instance, if you are looking at cooperative studies and women empowerment, we need to, under our definition of terms, we need to define what cooperative society is. We need to define cooperation. We need to define women empowerment. Those are 3 and more, but everything that we want to define here must be included in our project. We don't have to define outside our project. Then the next slide. The next chapter, all these are what is contained in chapter 1. The next chapter is literature review. In any time that you are writing a project, each chapter must have an introduction, a brief introduction. It is normally stated that this chapter deals with what are those things that are going to be included. There are 3, 4 things in this chapter. We have the conceptual framework, the theoretical framework, empirical studies, and appraisal of reviewed literature. What is a literature? A literature is just a compendium or a review of works that has been done before us, but that are related to our own work. For instance, like the example that have been given, Mr. Nelly, the next slide. If our topic is cooperative studies and women empowerment, we need to only review works that are related to this our topic. Anything outside this, we don't need to review, but we review things that are related. Under our conceptual framework, we are going to look at some models. A model are just a real abstraction of the real things. We still under the conceptual, we define cooperative society. We will now relate it to women empowerment. We will now look at, if possible, we'll look at Nigeria. Which area or who are those authors that are work concerning that are work? You look at Africa or West Africa, then you can now look at globally. Those are the things that will look under our conceptual framework. Then the next thing is the theory. What are those theories that backs the work that we are doing? For instance, now, if you want to look at women empowerment, cooperative and women empowerment, of course, there are theories that can back this. There are some theories. We'll look at those theories, we'll review, then we'll pick which theory is related to our work. Then, like we have said, we'll look at the empirical studies. That is those people that have looked, people that have done some work. For instance, we can say Balogun, Nelly, Adebosin, 2012. They were able to look at the cooperative and women empowerment in Oshodi Solo. And they now found out that cooperative society, through their loan, has actually been able to impact on the social well-being of their cooperators, so on and so forth. And once anybody, we need to take note here, Mr. Nelly, the next slide. Once you made mention of anybody, any author, as I'm going to see later, everything, any author that is mentioned there must be referenced in our references. Then we go to methodology. Like we said, you recall that in a physical class, we define research methods. Another research method will define some things. The first thing is research design, which is a blueprint of how we want to conduct our research. There are two ways. Is our research work going to rely on primary data, or will it rely on secondary data? You know, of course, you have defined what is primary data and what secondary data in the class. A data that is purposely and generally and intentionally collected by the researcher is called primary data. Why those data that have been collected by someone else, or a data that has been collected and somebody is now using it, is what we call a secondary data. For a primary data, in most cases, you need to have the following headings. We need to have research design. We need to have population of the study. The population of the study are the respondents that are directly involved. Those one, for instance, that you are going to give questionnaire to. Are they 120? Are they 130? Are they 150? You just say that the population will comprises of cooperative society in Ikorodu local government. A total of 200 respondents were sampled, and so. Eh? 59. And it is on this. It is on this basis that you can now be able to look at the kind of sampling. You recall that we have done many research sampling, types of sampling in the class. Total sampling, purposive sampling, random sampling, cluster sampling, and so on and so forth. The one to be used should be a function of the kind of data that you want to collect. Now, can we have the next slide? Mr. Nelly, can we have the next slide? Yeah. Once you have collected our data, and once you have the next thing is chapter 4. That information that we have collected will now come and one after the. For instance, from a questionnaire, we have background information. It has to do with gender. It has to do with age. It has to do with the type. The type, in the sense that, you know, we have it could be a multi-purpose cooperative society or whatever. You come and analyze each one per table. You take gender. What is happening to the gender of female? How many female do you have, and how many male do you have? And once you have done that, we will now be able to explain each table. For instance, if there are 100 respondents, 70 of them are females and 30 are females. We will now say that you calculate this in terms of percentage. We will now say that maybe 20% or 30% of our respondents are males and this. You will now relate this to your topic. Not just, you don't just end there. As there are more males or females, who and who takes loan and what have they been using it for? It is there that you can now relate it to the kind of empowerment. You discuss each of these tables in relation to the research questions that you have. You now go to the last chapter, which is chapter 5. Nelly, can we have, Mr. Nelly, let's have chapter 5. In our chapter 5, we have the summary. We have implication of the study, conclusion and recommendations. Under the summary, which is discussion of the findings, all the findings that you have in our result and discussion in chapter 4 must be summarized here, table by table. Table 1 shows the gender, and from chapter 4 or table 3 or table 1 in that place, it was found out that this and that. Just summary of what we have discussed in chapter 4. Then we state what is our own findings in relation to what we have read in past works, in relation to what you have seen in literature. We'll discuss each one of these and we'll justify why our own findings is either better than what we have or what we have read, or whether that one is better than our own. Then you now say the implication of the study. Under the implication of the study, the implication is that whether what you have conducted is restricted. If it is maybe for one local government, we can now say that since this research was conducted in Ikorodu local government, it is possible that if you extend, maybe any other person that wants to conduct extend, it is possible there is going to be improvement in this study or not. Then you can now conclude based on the summary that then you now make recommendation. And under the recommendation, based on those stakeholders that we have identified in chapter 1, we can now make recommendation that once a cooperator collect loan, they should be able to use that loan for what they have collected it for, or and so on and so forth. That is just the summary of report writing, and I thank you for listening. We want to give room for questioning, contribution, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. Please, if you know you want to say anything, just unmute or raise up your hand so that you can be identified. Thank you very much. Yes, you have the floor. Just raise up your hand. Let's identify you. Then you ask your question, they will respond. And if it's going to be contribution or correction, yes, just let us know. Yeah, you have the floor. Okay. I see your hand, but normally you are supposed to click something. Yeah.
I can't.
You are
I can't
recognized.
really say. I can't really because I'm supposed to click here. But my question is this, sir. Are you hearing me,
Okay.
sir? Yeah.
Your name first.
My name is Mr. Omotayo Adedeji.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. In the course of doing research, is it supposed to be a particular time frame when we are doing a research, or we'll just continue doing the research until we get to what we are the research we will do? We'll work
Until you
on.
end. Yes.
Yes.
You see, a frame could be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, depending on the way. So nobody will tell you whether you are the ones to, but you are the one, you should know. For instance, now, this one, the program that you are on now, there should be there is a time limit to which you need to end the program. And once you are able to complete in that section, in the next section, that means you have to pay. What you are saying now is that at least for undergraduates, you have 1 calendar year to complete that project.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Any other person? Any other person? If you don't have any other one, so that we don't we want to thank you for coming online at our physical lecture. We can still reiterate, or if you have any other thing, you can still bring it on board then. And if you know you still want to use this medium, you can send your message. We'll see it and we'll respond to discuss. Can we just say good